Hello there. You guys can probably see me. Hey yo, ooh, how are you? Let's light the scene up. There we go. A little bit brighter, a little bit nicer. Turn down the exposure a little bit. Ah, that's better. Alright. How are you guys doing today? We're gonna be playing just a little bit of Fatal Frame. There's a lot to talk about this one, actually. Yeah, both of them are nicely lit. Welcome to the channel, guys. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to a bit of what we're going to be doing today. Fatal Frame is going to be the name of the game that we're going to be playing. Koei Tecmo actually released... Ooh, that's loud. Koei Tecmo actually released a remaster of Fatal Frame 4 Mask of the Lunar Eclipse. It was actually a Wii exclusive, and I think they released it last week. So I was able to get a copy, not from them, but I got my own copy. Tried testing out the game, seeing how it was. I liked it. I did like it. I think they did a good job. A good job. And there's a reason why I say it specifically like that. The previous title, and you'll see this in the video as it comes along, but essentially, what they released wasn't on par to, like, let's say Maiden of the Black Water. I really felt that the quality of that port was extremely well done, and that they really did a great job with Maiden of the Black Water. Even though, yeah, it is essentially a Wii U game that's been ported over to Switch, it might not be as much work as you might think, but it is nice to know that it was actually a good, solid port, and it was nice to play. This one, I think, runs fine on PC, because we're going to be playing the PC copy, as evident as the stream says, if you guys are watching, like, down here, wherever you're watching. Yeah, there's still a lot of things that were lacking. The obvious things that they did, you know, like, they fixed the models. The models look amazing. Oh my god. I was very appreciative, like, the beautiful detail they had on all of the models. My biggest problem is actually the environments. The environments haven't been touched, like, at all. Like, the environments look pretty terrible. If anything, I think they're still using the original, like, 480p like textures that were used back in the day on the Wii. It kind of makes no sense. Like, they could have really touched that up, and they didn't. I don't know, Vu. I don't know. But they didn't touch these up, and we're gonna look into detail as to why that happened, how that happened, and yeah, that was just a big problem. But they did touch things up that I like, you know, like the models. I think that, like, a color correction, a very nice color correction where the brightness is actually nicely lit. A lot of the characters are beautifully lit too, so you can actually see them without it being too dark. I'm gonna show you exactly what that is too. I'm gonna pull some footage as well. See if I have some of the footage as well on my server. But that was another situation I wasn't too happy with, because this game isn't cheap. It's $50. That's a lot of money, and you want to make sure that if you're going to be, you know, spending some money on this, that it's going to be well invested. And you know what? Let me see. How much is this game actually going for on eBay for, like, the original Wii exclusive? I'm gonna look. I'm just looking this up, honestly. Fatal Frame 4 for the Wii. It's coming up on this on the Switch. No, on the Wii. Let me see. Let me put Wii then. Let's see. You can buy it for $89, but even still, that is still a lot. That's a lot of money. Like, if you wanted to buy the original, you can buy it for like $89 on the Wii. Instead, yeah, it is clearly better, and it's easier to access, and more people can play. That's cool. Don't get me wrong. But still, I really would have liked that Koei Tecmo kind of balance things out. But if you're curious and don't want to take my word for it, do this. I'm going to do, actually no, display capture. So welcome to my little server. I actually have a private server that I have here at home, and I have all the footage that I've recorded over the years. let's look. First of all, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pause the music for a sec so I could show you guys how this is going to work. It's going to be very different from my Resident Evil 1 because I know I didn't do that. Greetings from Trinidad again. Hello, Kevin B.H. Hall. How are you? Thanks for coming in, man. We're going to be talking about Fatal Frame. How does it work on the PC? What is the difference between the Wii version, too, which looks kind of funky, actually. I'm trying to think of something. Go with this. Okay, cool. All right. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm gonna raise the volume up a little bit. All right, so this is recorded off of my Wii. I finished all the recording. This video is gonna be out tomorrow, by the way, if you're curious. So I would definitely recommend you guys watch this if you can when it comes out. But this is how it looks. Like, it's a very, very dark game. A lot of the characters, I would say, in the context of a game that's supposed to be riddled in the darkness, right? You're supposed to be playing this in the darkness. And yeah, naturally you can't see the characters, but that's also its problem because it's a very difficult game to see. And it would have been nice if they were like lit a little bit easier so you can see them. You know, I have no problem with darkness, but in a game you have to be a little bit more conscious with that. But you can see in some instances it's not really properly lit. I'm gonna go back right here. I'm gonna go back to my footage right here. And I'm going to go to this one right here. I was fighting one of the ghosts, I think. Yeah, here you go. Here's a scene where Madoko, the main character, or one of the 5 main characters. Oh, Ruka. I forgot. No, this was another one. I'm sorry. They have like 5 main characters. But right here, you can basically see how the darkness, how the dark nature of the game works. Like, it is a very difficult game to see. And I noticed, actually, now that I notice it, there's a little bit more motion blur than in the original game. That's probably to hide a little bit of imperfections that's in the game, too. There we go. But yeah, you can see some ghosts and characters aren't really properly lit. I hope that makes sense, actually. The series is kind of, Kevball says, the series is kind of split over various consoles. Fatal Frame 3 isn't even on anything other than PS2 right now. See, this is one of the reasons why I'm really happy that people are having more awareness of the Fatal Frame series, because a lot, like you said, a lot of the games are locked in their console. Fatal Frame 1, which I love Fatal Frame 1. But I know it doesn't hold as much as a candle, is locked on the PS2. You can't play it any other than that. Fatal Frame 2 is locked on the PS2, and then it also has an updated version on the Wii, also locked there, and it's very expensive too. It's ranging around the $100. Like you said, Fatal Frame 3 is on the PS2, but I think they're probably working backwards. I'm hoping. You know as much as I do. But it is nice that they are working on Fatal Frame 4. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy. But I still firmly believe, oh, the Xbox has a port of Fatal Frame 1, doesn't it? It does, you're right. I forgot about that. I never did a port versus port, by the way, of Fatal Frame 1. Which would be nice, but I haven't gotten on that yet. I am curious to see what people would like to see if I do other comparisons, because I'm doing other comparisons at the moment, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Arioka, how are you? Thank you so much for coming in, talking Fatal Frame here, especially the new one as well. Well, I mean, what am I saying? That's the one we're talking about. But with that Fatal Frame, yeah, I really would have liked to see more on this. Let me show you something a little bit interesting. I'm going to go back into my server right here. Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit of that same... Is that same ghost fight that we just had? Okay, this is a different ghost fight. So this is when you go back into the mansion as your second character, which I forgot her name. I'm sorry, they have like 5 of them. It's hard for me to keep track. I don't know why it's lagging. It shouldn't. There are a couple things. So if you guys have noticed, look at the environmental textures. This is... Oh, did I quit it? Sorry. This is bonkers. Look how low res a lot of these textures are. It makes no sense. But then you look at how beautiful these models look. Do you see what I mean? Like I mentioned this in video, there's a huge cognitive dissonance between these two. And it really takes you out of the whole entire game. Like, why are these textures so low quality? Why didn't they update them? And, you know, they're still very much pixelated. So they probably just took the same exact textures, upscale them to whatever resolution it is, and that's it. They didn't filter them. They didn't do anything. Like, they're still the same old filters. And I mean, yeah, if you kind of like squint, okay, I guess it looks fine. But like, what I'm trying to get at is that Koei Tecmo didn't work on the environment at all. It looks terrible. It looks fucking terrible. But the models look great. I don't get it. A lot of the ghost models look great. The main character looks great. Sorry if it's... See, like, I'm gonna pause it right here. You can see how beautiful, like, the ghost kid looks. Like, they did a great job on, like, highlighting some of the, like the bags that are under his eyes. The shadowing as well. Actually, I don't know if you guys can see cursors or anything. So hopefully you can. But, and even though you can see, like, some of the individual parts of a hair, because they're not, like, individual strands, but what I'm trying to get at is that Koei Tecmo really did focus on making some great models. But they didn't work on the environments. It's such a huge problem. And, you know, if you're coming from, like, let's say, Fatal Frame, Made in the Black Water, and then you come back to this, it just makes no sense why they did that. I really wish they did that. It's terrible. It's really terrible. Arioka says, I bought the 3 PS2 Fatal Frames for PSN a few years ago, which I think is actually a good thing, because I wasn't sure if they were taken out by Sony. So I'm very, very glad they have that. So at least there's another way to have these accessible. Kevin says, those textures are haunted. They're supposed to be like that. All right, you know what? I believe you. I'm gonna go with that. Let me see. I'm gonna try to find another example that I have. Usually, what I do, because these are big files, by the way. This whole ghost fight, which is about, I'll show you this. It's about 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. It's recorded at 1080p. Look at the bit rate. And you can see that these files are gigantic. Just that is already 18 gigabytes. So I'm filling up my server. I have to start deleting stuff or deleting footage just because it piles up very quickly. I don't think I've ever talked about that on the channel, but this lossless quality, I love it, but I hate it because it gets really, like, it really fills up your drive. Oh, I forgot to export that specific. Okay, this is what we'll do. Let's start with the first cutscene of the game. So this is the main cutscene. After you start up the game, you pick your difficulty, go inside the mansion. Oh god, excuse me. That was my cursor. I actually put that in the recording footage. And I put that in the video. I forgot not to put do not record cursor. Oops. A couple things too that I really love. I love how they played with textiles. I think one thing I love about the Fatal Frame series so much is the way the developers have played with textiles on characters. They probably do some of the coolest jobs with that. I just love the way they look, how realistic they look in that. And especially the detail on Madoko's, like, blouse too. Actually, her, like, if you can see the little intricate details that are right here on her shirt. I don't know how to fucking call it. But you could see, like, the little ornate details. You could not see this in the original because 1, it was hidden in darkness, and 2, I don't like It just wasn't drawn out properly like it was here. But it makes no sense with the environmental backgrounds. We're gonna really explore that when we start playing. So I think after this cutscene, I'll like show you. Like there you go. You can see the beautiful detail blouse, like the beautiful flower. You cannot see that in the original. Little stuff like that, I just absolutely love. And you'll basically see this in the video when it's publicly released tomorrow, of everything side by side. But like I said, if you guys want to watch this video now, it is available for YouTube membership people and Patreon folk, both in lossless quality. But I think the quality is actually better on Patreon. I don't know if Patreon actually compresses, but oh my god, I did not show you guys at all. Jesus Christ, I did that thing again. I'm so sorry. We'll look at the game. I'll show you that. My bad. Kevin BHL says, I never played the PS2 one, but the Xbox has some great lighting and shadows. They did a really nice job with it. I played it long after that gen, but still impressed by the flashlights that had. It still looks pretty lovely. I'll admit that. Like even today, I think I want to go back to the original 3 Fatal Frames. Try them out to see how they are. They probably made a call, said environments are too much work, pick up some models and let it get out the door. But I get the dissonance you're mentioning, like the high-res over pre-rendered art like Chrono Cross. Yeah, that's basically where I'm getting at. And you'll see what I mean. Once we boot up the game and you see those differences, you're going to see exactly what I mean. So hopefully that is a little bit more apparent to you guys when you see that. Okay. Alright, so the game is loaded up. Let me put this right here. Sorry about that. Game capture is going to capture the window, and then that's going to capture Fatal Frame. There we go. Hi, you can see Fatal Frame now. Look at that. Alright. There you go. Welcome to Fatal Frame. I'm going to basically just continue where I left off. I was just casually playing this game. Yeah, I was doing and working like that. Yeah, because mostly I just wanted to really showcase a lot of the features of this. Yeah, I think it's a great case to include the old art assets just for preservation, or the option to switch at least. I think that would have been a nice option. Slightly unnecessary in that opinion, because they're going to work on the new textures while I have the original textures kind of thing. I get what you're saying, though. Hopefully you guys can hear the game a little bit better. All right. So I hope you guys know what I mean by this cognitive dissonance. This Tori shrine right here. There we go. Tori gate. There we go. It's got to get my Japanese back up again. You could see how low res this the Tori gate looks. Like it looks absolutely terrible. Look how beautiful her model is, and then you compare it to how low res the Tori gate is. It makes no sense. And this is throughout the entire game. You won't notice it as much on smaller intricate items, but as you kind of go closer to some of the environmental details, like the walls, the Tori gates, like even some of the stairs, you start to see a little bits of imperfection. I really think it's with larger items that have stretched out textures. That's usually where you start to see that. And it's a shame too, because you know, this can be a beautiful game, but they haven't done it. So I'm kind of having trouble understanding that, why they didn't go that far. But you know what? I don't fucking know. You know, I don't know if Koei Tecmo completely forgot. I don't know if they were lazy. Your guess is as good as mine. Alright, let's see. Basically, right now, what am I doing right now? Oh, there's another thing I do want to talk about. I'll talk about it in a second. Usually, right... Oh, search the second floor for the mask. So I have to search for another mask. Okay, here's another problem that I have. Fatal Frame is a game you have to play with controller. I would not recommend playing this with mouse and keyboard. It's not a fun experience. just because this game was made primarily for controller, even if it's a Wii remote, which is gone, thank God. There we go. This is what I wanted to talk about. So we're going to go a little quickly into general settings and operation mode. Controllers have two operation modes. That's classic, which is more derivative of the original Fatal Frames, probably the first three. And then action, which is more oriented towards like modern game layouts. So I think people will be more comfortable with that. I prefer it because I prefer having like my actions on my triggers, on my bottom portion triggers. Some people don't. Excuse me. So that is a little bit of a problem that you might have. I don't like that there's no button remapping. I don't like that to pull up some menus, you have to press X. I would have preferred to map that to Y. That's my personal preference, but it's little things like that where I think Koei Tecmo just updated some models. That was about it. Some of the key art is nice, though. I will say that. Does the Wii pointer have any recreation here, like gyro 6-axis? To my knowledge, I have no idea. It is very possible it has that on the Switch, but I can't confirm or deny that because I don't have a Switch copy. So I do apologize for that. But if I had to go on a hunch, I would say that it is because Maiden of the Black Water actually did have gyro controls. And they were good. If you didn't like them, you didn't have to have them. I think for the first portion of the game, I kept them on. But then I took them off because I got a little bit tired. So it's entirely dependent on you. But I think they should be in the game. But please do not quote me on that. Because like I said, I can't make anything definite if I haven't played it. And I haven't played the Switch copy. It's usually easier for me on PC these days. But yeah, but the translation from motion controls to controller is pretty native, you know, like it does feel very natural. And it's, if anything, this is what it should have been on release because it's totally motion control. Not everyone digs that like me. I'm not too big on motion control. It gets tiring fast. Oh, I did not get this mask. Get the old mask under. There we go. And okay, actually, before I grab this mask, let me show you guys something. When you start examining items, start kind of looking at them, seeing how they work, you start seeing the low-res textures. Pay attention to the low-res textures around me, and you can really start seeing the imperfections. That's a problem I have, and I really, really wish. Like, the more that you play, the more of a problem it becomes. I genuinely hate that. It makes no sense, you know. Kevin Ball says, I'm in the vast minority, but I love 6-axis for minor aim adjustments, and it's a crime so many PS didn't use it. I would very disagree with that, though. Because, keep in mind, you are in the minority. I'm not saying you're not wrong. Because not many people like motion controls. I think motion controls were a gimmick of its time to try to integrate new ways of gameplay into gaming. But as you can see now, it hasn't stuck around for a reason. And I think a lot of people lost the novelty for that. Just because, you know, people want to be playing either in two ways. They want to be playing with mouse or keyboard. Or they just want to be playing with a static, non-moving controller. It is a nice option to have for gyro. I think for some games, my favorite example I personally like to use is Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. When that port came out, I really like aiming my gyro, you know, to and from. I love doing that in Maiden of the Black Water on Switch, actually. No, on Wii U. Plays beautiful on that. But like I said, though, maybe people feel like this. There are very few and far things in between that do that. And I think motion controls stopped for a reason. Arioka says, some games took real advantage of motion controls like RE4 on the Wii. Probably my favorite version. You know what? You just saying that, I actually have my copy of RE3 in the other room. because I just wanted to casually play it. I've never played RE4 on the Wii before. Oh. That's one of the reasons why. And you can play with the GameCube controller. It's so fucking good. I think it's one of the, in my personal opinion, well, I haven't played it. I could easily see it as like one of the best ways to play Resident Evil 4. Just because... Jesus Christ, man. You're just gonna let that shriek? Wow, that's not good for the ears. Holy shit. Sorry, I'm like slightly recovering from that. It's just like... Okay. At least give the option, because the controller costs much more to include them, which is a good point. I do agree with that. It does suck that it has that technology and some games don't utilize it, which you're right, you know, don't include something that you can't, but then again, it's more of an option and it's not a marketing point anymore. Not for a lot of people. Not these days, at least. But I would love to play Resident Evil 4 on the Wii. I think I'm going to actually do that tonight after the stream. Just try it out, just to see how it is. I never mentioned this too much. I was planning on doing a port versus port of Resident Evil 4. But my god, I do not want to do 17 ports. I think I'm actually overdoing it with that. That is insane. I can't do that. I looked at it and I'm like, I like port comparisons, don't get me wrong. But I'm not doing 7. I'm not reviewing every single port ever made. Because it's a lot of time. And at the same time, I don't know if you guys know, like, the engagement to work ratio. I don't know if that's there either, which is another thing too. Because just because I can do it doesn't mean I should, because there is a discrepancy. Horror game, hello, E. Thank you for coming on stream. Okay, so we got the mask. Return the rotten mask. Thanks for being really descriptive. RE4 is one of the most ported games ever, like Doom. Let's review every copy of Doom, which honestly I'd low-key be kind of interested in, but you need to have... What is this game about? Fatal Frame is basically about... each story is different from each series. What the series is about, it's about people who... Or at least what this specific one is. It's about 5 girls who are trying to figure out what's happened in their past. So they go to a place called Rogetsu Island, which they have a lot of flashbacks and some trauma as to their past, and they're trying to figure out why. I'm keeping it extremely vague just because... Oh, crap. There we go. Oh, and you do see a lot of ghosts in this game. Like now. There we go. I did not. Oh shit. I will say this. The game is slightly creepier with headphones. Because you do hear everything. Actually, I don't even think some of the audio has been updated. It doesn't sound as higher quality as like Made in the Black Water. Oh shit. Yo, she really booga-booging me. Sorry, it's still wrestling with the controls. Okay, where'd she go? Oh, shit. Yo, where'd she go? Oh. You gotta wait for RE4 Remake to add them. All the different... Oh my god. Okay, I will say this. I'm very much hoping to cover RE4 when it releases. I'm still waiting for Capcom to get back on me on covering RE4. Because since I am part of the program, I do have access. Since I am part of the Capcom Creators Program, I do have access to possibly getting it, but they've been pretty strict on this one lately. So I can't really give a confirm or deny. Like, the demo, I was very, very close to actually doing a comparison, and I was going to release that today if that was true. But I found it kind of redundant to compare an original game to a demo. So I kind of scratched that idea. So I want to wait till the full release. which I hope to be covering. So if I do, I'll let you guys know via like Twitter, Instagram. I feel like I've been on Instagram a lot lately these days. I don't know. Twitter hasn't vibed with me lately. I've always preferred it on Instagram. But even then, I'll do it on like channel membership as well. Yeah, I'll do it on the community tab too. Which, yeah, if you guys want to see updates on the channel too, I do like to update the community tab pretty frequently. So that's another way that you can see what I do as well. Okay. Yeah, you're starting to just see like those differences right here. Like, ugh. The wall looks terrible, man. Like, even up to a distance, this is just insanely bad. I would only expect this kind of, like, resolution quality with, like, DOS games, you know, Doom, Quake, because it's kind of the nature, but not Fatal Frame, man. Come on. Koei Tecmo could have done more. They really could. They haven't. It's a big shame. See, I suppose. I think right here. So they kept the Wii textures on the PC version? Yeah. I don't get it. It's really weird. I don't know why they would have done that. But they did. Let me show you an example right here. So this is where you actually pick up the camera obscura, right? This is like the pedestal where you pick it up. Just look at the resolution of these textures. I'm gonna be honest, it's actually incredible to a terrible degree. Like, I can't believe they kept this. And you could see that, you know, they redid the actual frame of the camera, but they didn't do this. To be fair, it does look dilapidated. No, I can't. Yeah, I get what you mean, but no. That's not a pass for me. Because, you know, terrible textures don't make up for a dilapidated environment. They just didn't do it. I can't give that a pass. And especially with remasters like Metroid Prime. Yeah, I can't give that a pass. If developers wanted to, they could, but they're not doing it. Yeah, it's done for CRT. I think that's... Oh, for DOS games, it was done for CRTs. Even this game too, maybe a certain degree. But, yeah, I just really wish Koei Tecmo went the extra mile. Maybe they didn't have to for Maiden of the Black Water, so it was easier to port. You know, since the game was technically, running in like 1080p, so there wasn't too much work they had to do. I'm assuming. You know, I'm not a developer. I'm just assuming what could have been. Yeah, I meant because it's from the Wii version. Yeah, that's what I think. Like, it's still of that era where, like, put RTX on. No. RTX is not a band-aid solution. I hope you know that. What it does is just drawing, you know, light in real time. But it's not going to fix textures. Lighting will, if anything, it'll probably, and it'll make the low-res textures stand out. So ray tracing is actually more of a problem than a solution. I do... don't get me wrong, I do like ray tracing. I do like the idea of it. And, well, this PC can handle ray tracing. It can't do it at the same time as, like, running at 1080p. It just can't. Like, I have a 3060, and I got it when it's really spiked during the pandemic, because I really needed it for review. And now it's just like, we're on the 40 series. And that was a pain in the ass to get, so... I mean, at the end of the day, there's always something better. It would be nice to do that, but it's not urgent. Oh my god, that... Fuck, dude. I won't lie, that actually fucked with me. Okay, that fucked with me hard. That... I did not like that. I did not fucking like that. There you go. Once again, you can see the low resolution textures of the windows right here. Like, this looks terrible, man. Like, the curtains look fine, but then you look at the window frame. Like, geez, man. That's another thing. If you're going to be using your camera, you'll really start noticing these little imperfections. It takes me out a lot of this game. And that's why I'm not a fan of it. Like, it's good, but it's not $50 good. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Oh, I'm sorry. Just this caught my eye again. I don't know what that's supposed to be. Is that a 7? What is that supposed to be? Koei Tecmo, come on. Ugh. Let's see. But it is still a pretty interesting game to play. The story is actually quite good. I'm personally not feeling it as much as Made into the Blackwater. But I am enjoying it so far. That's the story. But at the same time, I couldn't really personally digest too much of it. Because I was just kind of running back and forth through each port, getting all the footages done, and then getting all of the footage done, and then recording that. I'm sorry. Do you like The Evil Within? I actually do like The Evil Within. I like The Evil Within 1 fine. I don't think it did anything too much to stand out for me personally. I thought it was a good, solid game. Good, decent third-person shooter. I've been really itching for the second one. I don't know. I've heard nothing but incredible things about the second game, and I would love to play that. I have it, but I just haven't gotten into it yet. But I know I would, because I did like the Evil Within enough to play the sequel. It was a good launch title, more or less, for the PS4. It's 10 years. But I do think that there is some kind of AI that they could have put this stuff through to fix their textures. I mean, yeah, like AI upscaling is a thing. A lot of modders use that. But the trick with that is you can't just really throw textures into an AI upscaler and then it'll be oh, no, Arioka. I'm gonna say no. I don't think so. I don't care about the first DLC. Get the second one if anything. God, what was I saying now? Oh, you can throw in some things to an AI upscaling. But the problem with that is that there actually needs to be a cohesiveness to that. Like, you can't just throw it in and hope for the best. Like, you have to make sure that everything works properly, that it looks visually cohesive with everything. So that's a very huge important factor when it comes into AI upscaling. I think I didn't know this until a lot of people pointed it out, but a great example really was Persona 3 Portable. A lot of people mentioned that it was just kind of thrown into an AI upscaler. But there was a lot of imperfections that they did not fix. So it tells you that that level of quality needs to be like heavily researched. Oh, this is another thing I didn't mention in the video. Did you guys notice the way the text looks, where it says red spirit stone can be used? There's like a line right here that cuts off some of the text, and you can see it on the title too. Why did they do that? Why can't they fix it? I don't understand that. That makes no sense. That tells me that they're not doing a couple things right in this game. They're really not. They kind of rushed this to a certain degree. When I noticed that, I was like, yeah, they're not doing that. They're not doing something right. Yeah, I think the AI doesn't have the eye of an artist. It does not. It cannot create it without the intention of the original creator. That makes sense. It can probably give a good starting point. I think that's a good way of putting it. It's a good starting point. And I think from there, that's when they could really check back to make sure that it matches the original and go from there. It's a tool, but it isn't a one-stop shop for everything. And I think, I mean, if we're really starting to go through that route, I think it's important to know that AI isn't going to fix everything. I think a great example was that Lensa app that was kind of going around. A lot of people started using it. And the thing is, it's AI technology, so it's trying to replicate people's work, but it's not going to be 100%. And the reason that I brought that up is that AI upscaling is pretty similar to that, where it will try to make it look as best as it can, but it needs a human touch to finish it and fix it off. That's why a lot of these remasters really show the effort of the developers. Because I do think that Koei Tecmo was a little lazy on this, but at the same time, I look at the models and I was like, no, they actually put effort. They redid all of these models. So I appreciate that. But then they didn't do the environment. So it's like having a really great cheese pizza, but there's no sauce. I mean, the sauce is a little crummy. You know, it's there. But it's like, ugh, I would have preferred that you didn't use like week old sauce. I would have preferred fresh. And they're like, you know, it's all we had. You get it, but you don't like it. And that's the same case with here, where Koei Tecmo could have done more. They really could have done more, and they didn't. That was a problem. Hello, Mama. Remember the RE remake? They didn't even have the original GT assets, rendered the pre-D in HD. I'm kind of a digital pack rat, so I can't even imagine deleting that stuff. Well, you got to remember something too. A lot of these assets weren't meant to be kept. If you see stories of companies from time and time again, just like the story I was mentioning of, what is it called? Having difficulty keeping everything because I'm losing space. Think of that same mentality, but for a multi-million-dollar corporation. A lot of companies don't keep their assets because they don't know if it's worth keeping. And it's not until the trend of remakes and remasters came along that they found out, you know what? We threw away money. We shouldn't have done that. And that's why a lot of assets have been lost, because no one thought that this would be collectible or enjoyable. It's just like, let's move on to the next project. But now people are like, companies are saying, no, we have to stay on previous projects. Some remasters, as Arioka said, don't look right when they change the game engine. That's perfectly true. A great example was Kingdom Hearts 1. They lost the original engine. Like, that engine is gone. But they had to recreate it from the ground up. That's a lot of work. So sometimes you have to really do a lot of this work yourself to get it running. The source ports of like Mario 64 and Legend of Zelda are also beautiful examples of that too, where people have to reverse engineer their that work in order to make it easily modifiable, which is another example of that. So yeah, companies just never thought of keeping a lot of these games, and it's shown time and time again. When you see company interviews, when you see interviews with developers, it's a very common subject that goes around. I'm wondering if they didn't have the assets for this in the way that would have made it easier for them to fix it. Not make excuses, just something I find interesting. Yeah, it does make you think. Like I said, I can't really know because I'm not a developer. I only know what I'm learning from time to time, so yeah, it does suck on that. Rico says, for example, the Batman Arkham games look better on PS3, 360, because it was made for Unreal 3, and then they changed it to Unreal 4. So I'm guessing to Unreal 4, so the lighting on the remasters doesn't look right. That doesn't make sense, because those are still very different engines, and probably because of gaming's architecture, a lot of consoles do run nicely, or a lot of consoles do run games very nicely with Unreal. So that probably makes sense why. It sucks though, because it just shows you sometimes the best way to play some of these games are the original versions. That's one of the reasons why I like to do the port versus port series and like my game comparisons, because you know, not everything is black and white. Just because a new remaster comes out doesn't mean it's going to be good. Sometimes it's better than the original. RE4 is a great example. I hate the way the Resident Evil 4 original HD versions look. But like, played on like GameCube or the Wii, top notch, man. It looks great. Because it was made for those consoles. So it truly, truly depends. Yeah, some of the textures were improved on the remasters, but the lighting makes the characters look more. Yeah, and lighting is another factor that plays into game cinematography. And if that's messed with, that does ruin a lot of people's perception of some games. So it's tough, man. It's really tough to see what could be, what could have been, and why some games turn out the way they do. And all we can do is just, you know, educate ourselves on what is something that we can do, because at the end of the day, our dollar is what pays for a lot of these games. So good to do research, see if it's worth it, because chances are that game that you had sitting in the background might have been good. Jesus, you ever seen the OG RE4 PC port? Oh, I have, and it is one of the worst PC experiences I've ever had. I didn't know it much as a kid. I think I found a copy somewhere. Someone gave me a copy. Like, I don't know. I think someone gave me a bootleg as a kid. I started playing it on my PC. I'm like, it does not play. Like, what's going on? And I didn't know it's because of a bad PC port. I didn't know that was a thing. I remember Metal Gear Solid 1 was a great example too. That played pretty terribly on PC. But they fixed Integral and now it plays much better than it did originally. Stuff like that. That's a big reason why. That's why I love doing these series. Because you really do see those little differences. What could have been, why were some things the way they are. And how you can improve them. Let me see something for a sec. You had a bug in MGS1 PC where something didn't trigger and the game was locked. Oh my god, you got soft locked in the game. That fucking sucks, man. Which is also an error with a lot of these games too. You know, where you get soft lock on some things and it just doesn't really go your way. Since I've been obsessed with such locks. Is it true that the remake of KOTOR is in development hell? It is. It actually is in development hell because, well, it wasn't announced that it was in developer hell. They actually switched developers, so Aspire's not working on it anymore. That already means it's in developer hell. I feel so bad for the KOTOR series because it doesn't deserve it, and yet it's going through developer hell. But I've covered that too on the channel. Aspire has been really like fucking up. They've been dropping the ball on a lot. Their quality control it's pretty horrendous. They didn't do a good job on KOTOR 2. That was really terrible. And I have not played KOTOR 1 because I do not want to buy a copy of that game on Switch. I refuse. Because I know it's going to be terrible. They fucked that up. I'm sure they fucked that up. And they fucked up that. Okay, if you guys have played KOTOR 2, did Aspire actually release the DLC for KOTOR 2? If they didn't, I'm gonna actually be furious because that's clearly false advertisement. I'm sure the new devs will be respectful to the source material. Dude, I really fucking hope so. Because I'm not happy with what Aspire did. That is very shitty, man. Why isn't BioWare handling the remake? Because they're dissolved, man. That BioWare team is completely dissolved. It's not gonna handle. It's not the same team anymore. So that's why. And even then, Aspire has been handling like PC ports, or like Switch, like porting up the classic games. I think what they're doing is just repackaging the PC versions and just putting them on console. It works, I guess, but ugh, they didn't test out the kinks. Don't worry, man. I've drawn a flaming pentagram to ensure its quality. I really hope so. Because you don't want to see me cry on stream. That might happen. You can play the OG Xbox and it performs great. I have heard about that actually. I don't have an Xbox One or Series X, but I have been hearing it's Microsoft did do some amazing patches, so it plays great. But even then, I will always play KOTOR on PC. Like, I'm a PC guy when it comes to KOTOR through and through. It's ingrained in me. There's nothing I can do. I also have not played KOTOR 1 and 2. Gotta get on that. At the time, it was that kind of game. I didn't quite get the combat. The combat is very Dungeons & Dragons. So you're constantly rolling for like initiative and rolling for your different stats. So if you like that format, hey, it works. Oh, I did not see that. I would have not seen that. Let's see. I have to find. Well, let me see. What do I have to do? It says return the rotten mask. To where? Guess we'll find out. What makes the Switch port bad? Isn't it based off of the PC? Yeah, I remember there was a lot of performance issues. So that was a problem. I remember there was audio. It's been a while, so please bear with me. I did make a video on it though. I remember there was audio compression, which I didn't like. The DLC problem was a big kind of a fuck you, because it's basically free and it was done by modders, and they kind of repackaged it, and it kind of sounded like they were doing it themselves. And I'm like, no, that's a no, bro. Oh, I did not see those. Oh, that is fucking creepy. Oh, fuck that. Yeah, I remember your video. I'll check it out again. Yeah, you'll definitely see what I mean. Yo, if she got this, that fucking creeped me out. I do not like that. Yeah, that was a problem that they do. They did a decent job with Jedi Outcast and Academy. Although Academy doesn't run at 60 frames a lot, which is weird. Star Wars Racer I know was good. Republic Commando was not. There's a lot of performance issues, which they said they fixed in a patch, but I'm like, no, it's still bad. A lot of bugs were in the game too, so yeah, it rubbed me the wrong way. No, they didn't credit the modders. I was very angry at that. That they released a mod that was DLC and they didn't even credit the modders. Okay, they're releasing it for free. That's still really shitty. And they know that. That's what bothered me so much, man. I don't think Aspire has been doing good business, and it's funny because a lot of people have left Aspire. So that kind of shows you as faith as it is. And I'm, like I said, you know, as much shilling as it sounds or as it looks on the channel, I really try to keep it real with you guys, even if I get free codes. Because KOTOR 2, I did get a free code. I asked them, they sent me a free code, I did that. But they did a shit job on that. I am sorry, man. I was pretty angry. We can't see more than 60 FPS anyways. Return it to the damnable plebs. Yeah, they better port Star Wars Racer for the Switch. What do you mean they better port? It's already ported. You can buy it in stores now. I'm very serious about it. You can buy Star Wars Racer like now on the eShop. You're good, man. Although I was thinking about covering that, but I felt like it was kind of like a too little too late thing. But, huh. I didn't think about that, actually. Okay, there's gotta be, gotta be one of those Himetsu dolls. Oh, it's hard, but no, Arioka, get a copy. You'll do that. Actually, I can't find where I put mine. Man, I'm kind of lazy to get my Switch. I won't lie. But it is on the Switch. Imagine each Joy-Con controlled one. That would be funny. Other way. Yeah, I meant the Switch shouldn't have issues handling that game. Yeah, it shouldn't. The Switch is more than powerful enough to handle those games. It's the optimism. Aspires now. Optimism. And yeah, it made me really think. Oh, I have it. It's buttery smooth. Okay. I've been meaning to try it out. Because I actually, believe it or not, I actually got rid of my... I got rid of my N64 copy. Because I wanted it on Switch. Because it's a better version. So, here's another reason I do my port versus port series. I did cover Jedi Knight. That one I did, for sure. Did a full-blown comparison for that one. So, the reason that I do what I do on YouTube is because I want to know what version works personally for me. So I could get rid of my old copy to get a new one. I do that a lot. I review all of them. I keep whatever version works for me. And then I just get rid of all of them. I've been doing that. I did it with Turok. Because Night Dive remade that on the Switch. Get rid of my N64 copy. Star Wars Racer, Rogue Squadron, because I only have Rogue Squadron on like Windows 98. I love Windows 98 in general, playing on it. Shadows of the Empire. I want both versions on PC and that, because they are very different experiences. But I hope you guys know what I'm trying to get at. That's one of the big reasons I like to do that. Oh yeah, Resident Evil 2 on Dreamcast. I love playing Resident Evil 2 on Dreamcast a lot. That's my preferred way. Yeah, the Switch and PS4 run like the PC. Yeah, so it really goes to show that I think they're PC wrappers. I think that's what they truly are. They're just PC wrappers and nothing more. Like, they didn't really work on it like as much as they could, which is a little bit of a shame though. But what can you do at that point? I'm stuck here and I can't find a fucking ghost. I really don't know what to do. It says... yeah, me too. I still have RE2 on Dream. I love those ports so much. Like, I will live and die by them. But I don't want to play Code Veronica on them. Which is funny. I want to play like the PS... I would actually rather play the GameCube version of Code Veronica. Actually, now that I think about it, that's another video I would like to do. I might have to do a poll and see if people want to see me record Code Veronica, because I would absolutely love to do Code Veronica so much. Yeah, I think my goal is to do all the Resident Evil games that I can, except for I'm not doing that. If I can't find anything, I think I have to end the stream, because it's gonna just end up being me searching out what to do. How long have I been live, by the way? I've been live for about an hour. Okay, yeah, so it's coming. The remastered Code Veronica on... Oh, that's a good point. Because they did remaster that. But I heard they took out some of the lighting tints. So it doesn't have that same lighting that was previously in the game. Which is a shame if that's the case. All of that, it really does matter. Okay. Oh, is this door? No. I think I tried to go in this door, but I couldn't. Yeah, that's something I definitely have to try and see how I can make it work. I do want to try it out. One of these days. Let's see. Let's see. Ah, I did not see that, actually. Oh. Oh. Man in the kitchen. Okay. That actually kind of screwed with me a little bit. A lot of these ghosts are genuinely terrifying. They're extremely terrifying. Oh, I remember there were some masks around this room. Let me see. There, so that's where that was. I got really lost in here. There we go. Oh no, I'm not liking it. Okay, so that one's open. Let me check out what's in that room. And then I think after that, I'll definitely call it a stream. You know me, I like to keep the streams short because I know people like to watch the VODs, and I don't like to make the VODs longer than they need to. Usually for these kind of streams, little goes a long way, I've noticed. Okay, so I have to go up here, go up into that room. Oh god. Yeah, there are those low res textures again, man. Every time I'm playing this, it really takes me out. I'm just tired of it. I'm really fucking tired, man. Can they just, like, not do that, please? I'm, like, almost gonna beg Koei Tecmo to, like, update this game. And the funny thing is, if you buy, like, a Switch copy, those versions might not be patched like this. Which sucks for preservational purposes. It's like, alright, great. Everything's not in the game. It's kind of stupid, but what can you do, right? Okay, let me see. Am I in the room? Alrighty, I am. Oh, great, we hear some crying. First Resident Evil Code Veronica I played on the PS2. I got it at a budget price. It's still at a budget price. Still very cheap. I actually don't own... Yeah, I have to get my copies. Sadly, it'll never be remade. We don't know that. Oh, I'm not liking this. Oh. Bro. You okay? Oh. Uh-oh. Oh, shit. I didn't... Oh, she's dangerously low. Hold up. I did not see that. I get the feeling it's viewed as relatively fair somehow by Capcom. I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe Capcom has their reasons. I know Capcom's aware. I definitely know Capcom is aware. Oh wow, she looks terrifying. Let's see. My god, I won't lie. This part of the game is fucking with me a little bit. There we go. It's probably the next RE that Capcom will remake after 4. I don't see them remaking 5 and 6 because they're not as popular. I actually agree with that response. I don't think Capcom has any reason to go back to 5 and 6. A lot of people find them as failure. I do. I don't like 5 and 6. I hate them. I'm not a fan of 5, and I definitely don't like 6. There we go. Ooh, a double shot. There we go. Alright, I'll use my other film. There we go. Yeah, I could see it a second sound like you're a remake. Yeah, I would like them to remake Code Veronica. That would really be nice. That game really needs it. I'm pretty sure we'll get that soon. I don't know what the fuck that means. Ooh, all right. That looks like that's a good place to leave it off. What is going on? Yeah, everyone says RE5 is good playing co-op, but there's some games you want to play single player. I don't want to play co-op. No? All right, let's leave it off of there. I pretty much ended it, and I just realized I could have just ended it off there, and I had no idea. All right, so that's off. Let me put... There we go. Cool. All right, there we go. That was a little bit of Fatal Frame. I hope you guys liked how that stream was going on, talking about Fatal Frame and some of the little intricate things and differences about it. If you're interested, the full video should be out tomorrow. If you want to see it now, it's out for YouTube membership and Patreon, folks. So you're more than welcome to watch that, see how that works. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a really nice insight of Fatal Frame, playing that with you guys and seeing how it works. If you guys have any questions, feel free to let me know in the comments of the video when that comes out. But I hope you enjoyed the stream. Great stream. Can't wait to see you. Thank you so much for coming in, Kevin, to Vu, to Arioka, to everyone else, and of course you guys watching on VOD. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I hope that you enjoyed this little stream, as well as what is it called? The new Fatal Frame that's going to be coming out, talking about that. It is a, like, to TLDR, make it very, very simple. It is a decent port. It's a nice way to play an original. It's just, it doesn't, the environmental textures don't match with the models, which are beautiful, by the way. And the button remapping would have been nice touch. Those are my two complaints, but they are pretty notable in that. There you go. Thank you guys for coming in. Hope you enjoyed it. See you very soon.